Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're tackling a very specific logistical headache. Imagine you need to get high-quality computer graphics, a presentation or something, across a huge venue without the signal just turning to mush.
Yeah, that's the classic long-haul problem. You run a standard VGA cable more than, 50 feet, and you start seeing ghosting, fuzziness, or just nothing.
Which brings us to this little box, the Kramer PT-120XL. On paper, it's a computer graphics video over twisted pair receiver.
Right.
But really, our mission here is to figure out how we can use, standard building cable Cat 5, Cat 6 to push video way farther than old school coaxial cables can handle.
And that's exactly it. It's using the physics of twisted pair cabling to beat the distance problem. The PT-120XL, it just sits at the display end. It takes a signal over an RJ45, a network jack, and just converts it right back to that 15-pin HD connector.
What most of us would just call a VGA port.
Yeah, exactly, a VGA port.
Okay, let's talk about the range then, because this is what jumps out. The spec sheet says up to 250 meters. That's, over 800 feet?
It's a long way.
Usually, that much copper cable is just a giant antenna for interference. How is this thing possibly keeping the signal clean over that kind of distance?
Well, that's the inherent magic of twisted pair tech, right?
Yeah.
It's all about differential signaling. So any electromagnetic noise, it hits both wires in a pair at pretty much the same time.
Okay.
The receiver at the end isn't looking at the signal on one wire. It's looking for the difference between the two. So all that common noise just gets canceled out. That's how you can get a signal-to-noise ratio of over 70 dB.
So you're basically just deleting the noise when it arrives. But okay, noise is one problem, signal integrity is another. At 800 feet, you got to be losing high-frequency data, right? Is the PT-120XL just spitting out a soft, blurry 1080p image?
It would, yeah, it absolutely would if you didn't have the onboard processing. This is where those little dials on the unit are so important. The level and the EQ.
Right, I saw those. Level seems pretty straightforward. That's just gain control for the signal strength.
Yeah.
But the EQ, or peaking control, that seems like it's doing all the heavy lifting for the image clarity.
It is. A long copper cable, it basically acts like a filter. It just eats up the high frequencies. And those high frequencies are what give you sharp edges, crisp text.
So the EQ control lets you manually boost those specific frequencies back up at the receiver end.
You got it. You're basically drawing an inverse curve to what the cable is doing to your signal. You're tuning the receiver to the exact length and characteristics of that specific cable run.
You can compensate for runs up to 300 meters, it says here. That's almost 1,000 feet.
Yeah, and that ensures your WUXGA or 1080p signal actually looks like 1080p at the projector, not like some fuzzy mess.
It's just interesting that they packed that level of, manual calibration into such a tiny form factor. They call it Pico tools, right?
That's a huge selling point. I mean, the unit is tiny. You could just Velcro this thing to the back of a monitor or hide it completely. It doesn't need a rack shelf or anything.
And speaking of easy installation, this Power Connect system really caught my eye. It seems like a nod to the fact that power outlets are never where you actually need them.
Oh, it solves such a common pain point for installers. If your transmitter and this receiver are within about 150 feet or 50 meters, you only had to plug one of them into the wall.
So the power just travels over the same Cat 5 cable.
Yep. The 12-volt DC runs right alongside the video signal. It saves a huge amount of hassle, especially if you're mounting a projector on a ceiling and there's no outlet nearby.
You're just running one cheap, flexible network cable for everything.
For video and power. It simplifies the whole infrastructure.
So to kind of sum it all up, the PT-120XL it's like a bridge. It takes a fragile analog signal, makes it tough enough for a long journey using twisted pair physics, and then gives you the tools to rebuild the quality perfectly at the other end.
It's a workhorse. It's a real-world solution. It recognizes that even as we go digital, we still need these super reliable zero-latency analog links that can handle the reality of a large building.
It really highlights an interesting tension in AV tech, doesn't it? We get so obsessed with wireless this and digital that, but for mission-critical, long-range video, we're still falling back on, simple copper physics and manual tuning.
Well, there's something to be said for the reliability of a physical connection you can literally tune with a small screwdriver. Sometimes the smartest solution isn't the one with the most software, it's just the one with the cleanest possible signal path.
A solid thought to keep in mind. That wraps up our deep dive on the Kramer PT-120XL. Thanks for listening.